what's up, YouTube? Welcome back
What's
to
up,
my
what's
channel. We're here. I'm here with my dad and
The one and only,
Car Mason, and we're back for another episode of Black Men Speak, episode 2. Woo! Super excited to be interviewing my dad. Same questions, same formatting, just probably gonna be some different answers. So let's get right into it. Hi, Dad. Welcome.
Hi, babe.
Okay, so my first question for you is, who is Car Mason?
Okay. So, Cara Mason, 45 years old. I'm originally from Huntsville, Alabama. I grew up actually in the Durham area. Most of my childhood and most of my adulthood, I've been living in the Raleigh area. I'm 45 years old. My wife and I have been married for 22 years. I want to say we've been together 28 or 29 years. I don't know. She keeps up that stuff. But I met her when I was a senior in high school. It's crazy. A senior in high school. And so we've been married for 22 years. We have two beautiful children. Obviously, Jasmine, 24, and our son, KJ, which is 20 years old. High school educated. I really didn't do the college thing. It's not that I didn't have the grades or anything like that. It's just when I graduated from college, you know, society is like, woo, where you going to college? I'm like, woo, I don't want to go to college. And so I elected not to do that. Anyway, to make a long story short, start working and so forth, and had a pretty successful business career. I own a technology company, built it from ground up, and it's been very lucrative. I've had the opportunity to create financial freedom and success for my family, and I'm excited about creating a generational wealth, creating a legacy for my children and my children's children and so forth. And so to summarize, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a black man, you know, I'm a businessman, but most importantly, I'm a world changer for the kingdom of God. So,
Wow, that's good. Snaps for that.
That was pretty good there.
That's pretty good. I love that. Also, what he didn't tell you guys is that not only is he high school educated, but he also taught himself like computers and all the technology stuff. He's like self-taught, kind of. I mean, he had a mentor, but he's
That's correct.
self-taught.
I've had great mentors in my life. Very, very appreciative, very humble. I always reflect back over the years and man, where I come from and what I've created today, and I literally pinch myself. But yeah, I self-taught myself computers and IT. As I said, I have a technology company, an IT company, and we provide managed IT services for small to medium businesses. Some of our clients are TGI Fridays, Anytime Fitness, Cricket Wireless. You know, those are some of our big name customers that you guys may know that are clients of mine and so forth. So yeah, I've had major levels of success.
So cool. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, the next question is, what is one experience you've had with racism in your own life, and how has that experience fueled your desire for change in our country?
Yeah, I will tell you, I'll be honest and very transparent. That was a tough one for me. And the reason why is because I've had many experiences, obviously, but it's one of those things over the years to be honest, I've kind of suppressed those feelings, suppressed those circumstances and so forth. And probably the major reason why, because I felt like, who cares? Nobody, I don't have a voice, basically. If I did share, nothing's going to change, you know. Actually, I'm going to tell you guys a story to answer a question. I'm going to tell a story that my own wife doesn't even know. I've never even shared it with her. And probably one of the biggest reasons why I've never really shared is because I didn't want her to be fearful, concerned, hurt, you know, angry. So I just elected just to kind of keep it to myself and suppress it. So I really struggled with that question, but one fond memory came to mind was, so this is about a year or so ago. I have a Maserati, okay, exotic car. It's a Gran Turismo, and I was by myself, actually. I was driving in Durham, And I was driving, through the city of Durham, and I saw ahead of me there was a checkpoint, okay? And there were 3 cars ahead of me. And so I slowed down, and I saw the first car go through, second car go through. I mean, just like that. First car go through, second car went through, third car went through. When I came up, there was 2 officers. There were two white officers came, one on each side, rolled down the window. He said, license and registration. As I was getting for my license and registration, he said, are you a druggie? And
wow.
actually, I didn't say anything. And so I got my license and registration and handed it to him. And he said, sir, I asked you, are you a drug dealer? I said, no, I'm not a drug dealer. And then they just started laughing. And he asked me to step out of the car. Now, in my mind, I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I just saw 3 cars go through, just like that, after the other. And then all of a sudden, he comes to me and asks me, number 1, am I a drug dealer? And then secondly, they started laughing. And then third, he asked me to get out of the car. Now, naturally, I'm really getting concerned here because I've seen the videos, I've heard things, the news, I've watched the news and so forth, and I realize there's a stigma out there. I realize there's racism out there. I realize, all these different things that are like running through my mind, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm just trying to comply, trying to remain humble, because I don't want something to turn into a catastrophic event and so forth. And so I got out of my car, and as you can imagine, my mind is just kind of going here. And so he asked me to stand over there by his police car, and I guess he went back to his car, and then he was kind of, I guess he was running my plates and all that kind of stuff or whatever, making sure I didn't have any warrants and that kind of stuff. And then he came back and he said, what do you do? That's a mighty nice car there. And I said, I own a company. And he says, okay. And so you sure you're not a druggie? And I will tell you, it took every strength of ounce in my body to remain in self and not to respond in a negative way.
Right.
And so I basically just took my license and registration. I said, officer, have a nice day. Now, what's very sad is because of the color of my skin, and the type of car that I'm driving, I had to experience a situation like that. Yeah. Obviously there's a stigma out there that, black men that drive these exotic cars or whatever, they must be dealing drugs or whatever, and that's unfair, because if he'd have looked at my license plate says MCS, that's the name, those are the initials of my company, Mobile Computer Services, space, Inc., Incorporated.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's a company that I built from ground up. My blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. I've worked hard to afford me to drive a $160,000 car. Right. I've worked hard to afford me to live in a multi-million-dollar home as such, And so, but it's very sad because of the color of my skin that I had to deal with such racist acts, by these officers and so forth. And it's just unfair. And what's really sad is I didn't ask to be born into this world. Yeah. I didn't ask to be made with this skin color here. But because my skin color looked different than those officers, then I was prejudged. I was I just experienced a very sad case of racism, Yeah. And so it's tough. That was the probably most recent fond memory that I have. And I didn't even tell my wife. I couldn't even tell her because I didn't want her to be fearful every time her husband walks out the door or her son walks out the door. I didn't want her to be fearful if she was riding the car with me. I didn't want her to be angry or anything like that. And so the only thing that I did was just suppressed it, you know, because who am I going to cry out to? Who am I going to tell? You know, it's my word against theirs. I have no proof or anything like that. And I'm already behind the 8 ball. So it's tough.
Yeah, that's a sad, but I feel like very humbling story for me to hear, like as your daughter. And I feel like too, like it's so crazy, but I feel like it reminds me so much of like Christ and just the things that he went through. And I love the verse in the Bible that says like Christ was the stone that the builders refused is now the chief cornerstone, which is Christ. And I feel like that humbles me and encourages me every single day when I think about us as Black people, or the Black men in my life, or me as a Black woman. Like, Christ did not go through anything that we have not already gone through, you know? And so he can relate to that. And because we're image bearers of Christ, like, although he was scrutinized and although he was like downtrodden and all that stuff, like, we have the victory in him because of what he did on the cross and for who he is, because he's the King of Kings, you know? So that's just really a great encouragement to me, and I hope for you too. But also, I mean, like, it's important to share your story, because I'm thankful that we're in a day and age where people are outspoken about this and sharing and, you know, posting and not being afraid to use their voice for good and to better our world. So thanks for sharing that. People like you, like, are needed to share their stories so that we can nip this thing in the bud, keep it from happening again and going forward. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. Okay, the last question is, what is one piece of advice you would give to a non-person of color as they are on their journey to be anti-racist?
2 things. Number 1 would be to listen. Not to prejudge, just hear our hearts. You know, listen and empathize. You know, my wife and I, we've been married for 22 years, and one of our keys to having a successful marriage is our communication with one another, and we've learned the art of how to empathize with one another. So I've learned, and she's learned as well, we both have learned how to place ourselves in the other person's shoes and really try to feel what they're feeling. And as we share our stories, our hearts, our cries, our heartaches, our pains with non-people of color, listen and try to really empathize and place yourself in our shoes and try to feel what we are feeling. And I know that's tough. I know it's very, very tough. But I think if a person can really do that, they will start to have compassion and also have a pride for change as well.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I feel like that's the recurring thing. Like, listen, empathize, all that stuff. Educate yourself.
That's right.
You know, that's like a recurring theme. And I feel like for us, like, we just want more allies in our corner to speak up. I mean, because, you know, we live in a fallen, sinful world, and so we're not going to get rid of every single racist on the planet. But if we have more anti-racists than racists, then we're able to combat that with our allies, with our non-people of color brothers and sisters, and walk together and be like, no, like, we're not dealing with that. And then that'll weed out all of the racists that are out here, you know?
I mean, I'll be honest, it's tough being a Black man and then take this in America. And then take it a step further, it's tough being a successful Black man in America. It's like all eyes on me when I go into the corporate world, you know. The bigger I get, guess what? More eyes are on me, you know. It's just tough. It's tough. I'm always feeling like I'm behind the 8 ball, you know. I have to prove myself, you know. And so I love, you know, what's going on now in America, and it's like, it's starting to feel like, okay, somebody's hearing us, you know, somebody's hearing our cry, you know, somebody is we have people that are in our corner now, you know. So.
Yeah. And for those people out there, I feel like there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, there are some people out there who is not a person of color, and they mention that like Black people just want a handout and all of that stuff. Let me tell you, cut the crap, because here's the thing. They're successful.
Not in this household.
Right. They're successful Black people out there who are trying to grind and do their best, but there are also non-people of color who are trying to tear us down and not allowing us to get to where we want to go, which we're not going to allow that. But I'm saying they try to put barriers in our path to make us not successful. So it's like, you can't say in one breath, oh, well, y'all just want a handout. But then when we try to do better for ourselves, you're like, oh, no, we can't have like Black people in higher positions. Cut the crap. That's not okay.
I have a multi-million-dollar corporation. I promise you, it wasn't a handout.
Right.
I built it from ground up.
Right.
It was just grind, just grit.
Right.
That's all it was.
Right.
And most importantly, my Heavenly Father lining up resources and and making a way to allow me to prosper and grow and so forth. So
yeah, and let's be honest.
It wasn't a handout.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Our enslaved ancestors did a lot of the work for those white people that were considered rich and successful.
All right, that's right.
So, you know what I mean? So it's just like changing the perspective, changing the narrative,
right.
understanding where our blessings come from, because without Christ, Jasmine can't do anything. Without Christ, Car cannot do anything.
That's right.
Period.
Amen.
So anyway, rant over. That
Tell
was just
her
a little.
Tell her well.
He did. So that was just like a little.
Little side note.
We're fine. Anyway, side note.
That was free, no extra charge, right?
I love that. Well, guys, thanks, Dad, first of all, for sharing your story, shining a light on being anti-racist and just changing the narrative. We really appreciate you coming on. Hopefully, you'll come back and do something like fun. Like I was thinking, we could do like a video with you and Mom, because we're like kind of funny all three of us together.
Yeah, we like to cut up and stuff. So.
Yeah, so we like to have fun too. So like you'll see more of those videos as well. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, this video is getting long. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below.
Your little thing, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know. What's a good one? Let us know why you love your dad so much. With Father's Day coming up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh wait, no. That's awkward. Father's Day is gonna be gone.
Okay.
We're out. Just mention why you love your dad.
Yeah.
Period. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We love you so much, and we can't wait to talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.